I'm Brendan Collins, this is Curse Kitchen, and this is how you don't f*** up a perfectly good steak. This one was actually sent to me by my Canadian friend who has seen the poutine video and wanted me to give this one a critique.
Bet you didn't know you could make steak like this.
Why the f*** are you putting a steak in a glass jar?
Grab some onion and dice it.
That was not a f***ing chopped onion, you just cut it in half. What the f*** are you doing? What is this, 1942? We're preserving it. This is one of the many f***ing reasons people don't like Americans.
Now turn up the heat and
The beauty of a steak is the caramelization, the char. That steak has none of this. You just f***ing killed it twice. Boiled steak, nice and grey, everyone's favorite food color. Little trade secret, you can always tell when somebody enjoys the food or not because they cover their mouth to stop them from spitting it out. I am not sure why she f***ing did it this way. This is more of a preserving technique than it is a cooking technique. So I'm going to teach you how to beautifully sous vide a steak, reverse sear it, get some beautiful caramelization, and have a really tender, beautiful piece of meat. What we have here is a nice prime sirloin or New York cut, whichever you prefer to call it. So I like to salt quite heavy. I know some people don't really like a lot of salt, but I like a lot of salt. We're going to put the steak inside the plastic bag. Then we're going to get some butter. Like with all good cooking, you should be using plenty of butter. And then you can put whatever you like in, but I like to just use a few sticks of thyme. And just a little piece of garlic. What we're doing that she wasn't doing is we're cooking sous vide, which means cooking under pressure. She was just slow cooking in a jam jar. That is not sous vide cooking, so there is no precision to it. And it is a very, very, very precise way of cooking meats and vegetables, as well as marinating things. It's all about being under pressure, so it keeps all the muscle fibers together, and we then cook it in a really controlled temperature. This is a chamber vacuum pack machine. Obviously, this is probably a little bit more than what you're gonna have at home, but a little food saver, same thing, it's just same process. Basically, we're gonna put the steak in. We want to make sure that it's very, very well sealed, so I put it on high vacuum and high seal. Let it do its thing. I am actually not a big fan of sous vide cooking. I think it takes the fun out of cooking. When I first started cooking, boiling a bag was a joke, but recently it's become kind of the thing to do. But for this, and to show you how I think she was trying to fucking do it. And voila, nice sous vide bag. Next up, what we're gonna do is we're going to put it into our precise temperature controlled water bath between 35 and 45 minutes. So we've had it in 120, we've had it in here for 35 minutes. I'm gonna take it out now. As you can see, the water is not much hotter than bath water, but this steak is beautifully cooked through. Right, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take it out of this bag, take the thyme off, just give it another quick season, not too much because we seasoned it quite heavily before. You could eat it like this right now if you really wanted to. This is perfect medium rare. Obviously, it has the same look and texture as the one from the fucking jar, so I wouldn't recommend it. What we're going to do now is we're going to go over on what's a new term that I don't particularly like called reverse searing, which makes no fucking sense at all. The reason we sear it, we want all those lactic sugars in there, we want them to caramelize. That gives us that beautiful flavor of beef. We're also going to enhance that flavor of beef by using butter. And we also want to render down some of this beef fat, and it's just going to give us a nice texture, crispy, beefy, caramelized flavor. Every household that cooks should have its own cast iron pan. The heat distribution is perfect. When you put something in them, they don't just like get cold and then you start boiling. And butter. Once that butter's melted, the pan is going to be the absolute perfect heat to sear this steak. What we want to do is we want to put it down fat side first. Nicely render down that fat cap, so then it's be nice and crispy and you'll want to eat it rather than it look terrible and be all congealed and look shitty. Turn it over, see that, nicely caramelized. And at this point, we'll start doing a little basting. So we're really starting to get almost like caramels cooking from the lactic sugars. So we've given it about a minute on that side. Beautiful caramelization. At this point, we're going to throw some thyme in. Some thyme and a piece of garlic. You don't get that pop in a jar, and you get that nice foamy butter bath. This is now ready Because we cook this sous vide, you don't really need to rest it for any sort of length of time. This is basically just a perfectly cooked steak. Beautiful, medium rare, super tender because we used a long time to cook it. Look at that juice coming out. If you cut this steak straight away from either a grill or a pan, it would be bleeding everywhere. But because you cooked it sous vide nice and slow, the resting process is just a lot shorter. I'm Brendan Collins, this is Kurt's Kitchen, and this is a fucking beautiful cooked steak.